you're not sure how an ISA can blow up your business, check out this video. I'm gonna go in depth talking about examples of how an ISA for real estate can impact your team. Let's jump into it. Hey there folks, Gus here with PowerISA. Now I know a thing or two about ISAs in real estate. We started our company in 2015. We have over 100 full-time ISAs working for our company, making up to 50,000 calls per day, setting between 100 and 200 appointments every single day. So I know ISAs for real estate. A question I get very frequently is, great, but what are the main things an ISA can do to move the needle, to grow my business, to really blow it up? So that's why I made this video. Let's start with number one, speed to lead. Speed matters, folks, and we've all heard of that MIT study that says if you do not contact the lead within the first 5 minutes, your probability of converting it goes down dramatically, 100% style. Massive change in probability of conversion if you take more than 5 minutes. What people don't realize from that study is that they said preferably you should reach out to a lead within 30 seconds, because 30 seconds increases likelihood even more than 5 minutes. So as a real estate agent, as a full-time agent working every day, these numbers sound insane. How can you possibly respond to any inbound opportunity within 5 minutes, let alone within 30 seconds? However, the top teams in real estate accomplish this. They're doing it. They're getting massive results from online lead. A big reason for that is their excellent speed to lead from their team. How do they accomplish it? Inside sales agents, ISAs, is one of the top ways, because the only way that I've seen to effectively get a phone call out there or even get a text message response out to an inbound lead is through an ISA who is dedicated. When they're dedicated to that job, their whole role, their whole goal is to ensure that the team's standard on speed to lead is always met. Speed to lead is also important for another reason. Right now, the consumer expects instant gratification. They are very likely to be searching on your website, searching on your lead form on their mobile device. So when they submit something, they automatically expect a speedy response. This is a customer expectation. You can ignore it, or you could actually try and meet those expectations and meet them where the customer is at. I'll give you a quick example. I was recently shopping for homeowners insurance for a rental property for myself. And I actually contacted, I believe, between 10 to 15 different insurance brokers, all of them working locally in the South Seattle area. Between 10 and 15 across 2 days. Do you know how many actually called me and actually followed up with me effectively? 2 of them. 2 of these folks actually were hitting the phones, talking to me, answering my questions, qualifying me, finding out what I needed. I went with one of them because the other one, even though they called me and called me diligently, took almost 2 days to return my calls, to actually reach out, right? Folks, the consumers expect more than that. If you reach out, if you show them that you're serious, that you have service, that you have a team supporting you, then you can win, and that's a real world example that I just experienced. Number 2 is effective follow-up. Effective follow-up. What does that mean? If you're getting leads coming into your database, I don't care whether they're internet leads, you're doing cold prospecting, you're getting a database referral. It doesn't matter. You're getting inbound sign call. You're getting responses through any kind of medium you're generating. You need to follow up with those leads. It's not enough to just respond within the first 5 minutes. Anyone that's in the business of converting internet leads knows there's a good chunk you can convert just by reaching out immediately. But there's still 90, 80% of those leads that are gonna remain unconverted after those first contacts. The only way that I've seen to effectively get the results that you want is follow up, follow up, follow up. There's a reason people say the fortune's in the follow up. For inbound leads from Google, Facebook, other lead sources, it would normally take 15 to 16 touches within a 30-day period to effectively convert them. And that's only probably gonna get you about a contact rate. You're gonna be able to talk to about 50% of those leads. But it takes 15, 16 touches in the first 30 days to give you a shot at talking to them. And that includes 6 or 7 touches the first week. It's really front loaded, that contact space, before it hits that 30-day mark. So you need to have a plan, and someone needs to do it effectively. The challenge for real estate agents is that they're really, really good sometimes at doing that first call, right? At doing that first text message. That's great. They struggle doing the second call, third call, fourth call, fifth call, right? Imagine a 6th or 7th call. People that are in the know understand that once you get past the 7th or 8th touch, your probability goes up. You're gonna contact that lead and get a shot at converting them. And when I talk about touches, it can be phone calls, it can be direct messages, it can be SMS, whatever you're using to convert. The ISA's role is to carry out that plan. And if they respond via direct message, via text message, the ISA is there to engage them. Even if you have chatbot technology, someone has to be behind it, ready to take the conversation over once they started contact with that person. You cannot wait 2 days later, like the people I contacted, to get back to people. You will lose them. The consumer expects diligent follow-up and responsiveness. The only way you can do this at scale is having a dedicated person doing it, and that person is the ISA, inside sales agent. Number 3 is working your database. Working your database, folks. Really important. Your database should be the foundation of your business, but a database that is not effectively worked will not bear fruit. A properly worked database can convert at 10 to 15% every single year. But one of the toughest but most important parts of working a database is making those phone calls. You can definitely email, you can work them on social, you can do many things to kind of nurture and contact with your database. But when you're making the ask, when you're asking them for help building your business, a phone call is key. Whether it's your Met database, people that know, like, and trust you, someone should be calling them to invite them to the next event. Someone should be calling them a year after, if it's a client, a year after they closed, to check in if they need anything. Someone should be calling them in tax season and ask them if they need any help getting mortgage tax forms, property tax forms, etc. It's part of customer service, excellent customer service, and following up and being able, when the time is right, to ask them for help building your business. But also, you can also call old internet leads, right? Really important. If you have a database of thousands of people, but they're not in your Met database, they don't know, like, and trust you yet, you should also be calling those old leads, because guess what? A new inbound buyer lead is great, but an aged buyer lead can actually be further down the funnel than a new buyer lead, especially from sources like Facebook or Google. You want those to be aged, but you also need to be checking in on them, need to be nurturing them, because if you don't, you're gonna find out the most disappointing call in real estate, which is you're calling an old buyer lead only to find out they bought a home with someone else. And to make matters worse, they might have sold a home with someone else. So don't be that person. If you can't do it on your own, don't have time to do it, get an ISA jumping in, making those calls, getting those referrals, converting those leads. Number 4, prospecting around your listings. Folks, if you have a listing that you're marketing, or even if your team has a listing that they're marketing, or above that, if your brokerage has a listing that you're marketing, find a way to get that permission, get authorization, and allow them to market and prospect around that listing. Whether it's just been listed or it's just been sold, you or someone on your team should be dialing 1,000 people around that property, letting them know property's new on the market, do they know any buyers? And when it's sold, property just went probably for multiple offers, and do they know anyone that might be selling because you have a bunch of buyers ready to go, right? Someone needs to make those calls. And that kind of prospecting, which is called circle prospecting around the listing, is most effectively done by an assistant, by a caller, by an ISA. These kinds of campaigns can really bear fruit. It gets people excited. And there's a plus. You can actually include this in your listing presentation. You can tell potential sellers that, hey, not only are you going to market your property on the web and do this and do that, you're also going to prospect and you're going to be looking for buyers for that property to build up momentum, create an even hotter bidding war, and get more people to look at and recommend that property. Having an ISA do prospecting around your listings, even if it's an open house, they can actually advertise the open house via prospecting with the ultimate goal of finding out if the person they're talking to owns a home, rents a home, wants to buy a home, or wants to sell a home. That is a great way to use an ISA to really blow up your business and guarantee that every listing you take or that your team takes or that your brokerage takes generates more and more transactions. Number 5, now that we're on the prospecting space, circle prospecting is not the only thing your ISA can call. They can call what I like to call high value lists. High value lists. And I'm not talking about expireds and FSBOs. There's a lot of material about that. You can check that out. But some of the best opportunities right now in this market, 2022, are making calls to lists of absentee owners. Those are people that own property, that are out of state. There's some of the least prospected leads out there. I own a property in Seattle. I own several properties in Seattle. And you know how many people call me to try and get me to sell my property? It's been 2 people in the last 2 years. Not very attractive. Mostly investors are the ones making these calls. More agents need to make those calls. If you don't have time to do that, you should get an ISA to help you make those calls. Another potential list are something called downsizers, right? These are folks that are 65 and older, have a certain amount of equity, have been in the home for a certain amount of years, that might be thinking of moving to an assisted living facility or something smaller, something more appropriate, more comfortable for them, and they don't need a big house anymore. You should be reaching out to these folks, servicing them. They can be a great client base and you can really help them out. Another option are probates, folks. These are people that passed away and their properties are going through a legal process of getting assigned to an heir. A lot of times these folks have no intention of living in the property. They might not even live in the same city, county, or state anymore. They might even be outside the country. You can actually help them out by giving them a call, finding out what their situation is, and seeing if you can help. All of these lists can work. What you need is someone making those calls, qualifying these leads, and sending them over to you to evaluate. That person can be the ISA for real estate. All right, folks. Hopefully this has been useful. These have been 5 ways an ISA can blow up your business. Check it out. And also check the description below. I have links to my videos where I go more in depth and lay out and explain each one of these areas even more, whether it's database or calling downsizers, circle prospecting. Check out my videos if you're interested and want more information. Check it out. If you found this video valuable, please crush that subscribe button. We release a new video, action-packed with information, tips, and tricks every single week. Thanks.